The UFC confirmed on Tuesday that Adesanya will defend his UFC middleweight title against Sean Strickland in the main event of UFC 293 on September the 10th at the Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney, Australia. Let's have a look at what we know about Sean Strickland, but before that, make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more amazing videos related to MMA. Sean Strickland, born February 27, 1991, is an American MMA fighter who currently fights in the Ultimate Fighting Championship's middleweight division. He has been a professional fighter since 2008 and is the former king of the cage middleweight champion. Strickland was raised in Corona, California by a physically and mentally abusive father. Strickland was expelled from every school he attended because of his family's situation. Strickland began training in MMA at the age of 14 and became a professional at the age of 17. Prior to competing against Josh Bryant for the King of the Cage middleweight championship at KOTC Unification on December 9, 2012, Strickland made his professional debut in 2008 for the King of the Cage company, compiling an unbeaten record of 9-0. Before being hired by the UFC, Strickland won by split decision and successfully defended his title 3 times. March 2014, Strickland competed in his first UFC event, taking against Bubba McDaniel. In the opening round, Strickland prevailed by rear naked choke submission. In May 2014, Strickland competed against Luke Barnett at UFC Fight Night 41. It was a split decision victory for Strickland. In February 2015, Strickland competed in a welterweight match at UFC Fight Night 61 against Santiago Ponzinibbio. The competitive battle ended with a unanimous decision for Strickland. In July 2015, Strickland fought Igor Araujo at UFC Fight Night 71. He received a unanimous decision victory. At UFC Fight Night 83 in February 2016, Strickland fought Alex Garcia. Strickland won the fight via TKO in the 3rd round after a back and forth opening 2 rounds. At UFC 199, Strickland next competed against Tom Breeze on June 4, 2016. He prevailed in a close decision. In August 2016, Strickland was scheduled to compete against Tim Means at UFC 202, but Strickland withdrew from the contest in the first few days of August, citing a knee issue. Sabah Homasi, a promotional newcomer, took his position. In April 2017, Kamaru Usman and Strickland squared off at UFC 210. He was defeated by a score of unanimous decisions. On November the 11th, 2017, Strickland and Court McGee squared off at UFC Fight Night 120. All 3 rounds of this battle were back and forth, and the judges' scores of 30-27, 29-29, and 29-29 led to the initial declaration of a majority draw. After the fight, it was discovered that the judges' scorecards had been incorrectly calculated, and Strickland was given a unanimous decision victory. In May 2018, Strickland competed against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos at UFC 224. He was knocked out in the opening round of the fight. In October 2018, Strickland fought Nordine Taleb at UFC Fight Night 138. In the 2nd round, he obtained a technical knockout victory. After the fight, Strickland decided to finish out his contract, which made him a free agent. Strickland was supposed to fight Wellington Turman at UFC Fight Night 181 after a 2-year absence due to a motorcycle accident. Turman was replaced by Jack Marshman on September 29th after withdrawing due to COVID-19 that prevented him from training after his 2-week quarantine finished on September 2nd. Marshman exceeded the middleweight non-title bout limit by 1.5 pounds at the weigh-ins, coming in at 187.5 pounds. Catchweight rules were used during the fight, and Marshman was penalised a portion of his winnings, which went to Strickland. The contest was decided unanimously in favour of Strickland. At UFC Fight Night, Felder vs Dos Anjos, Strickland squared off against Brendan Allen. He was knocked out technically to win the match. This win earned him the Performance of the Night award. Strickland was scheduled to compete against Uriah Hall at UFC 265. The fight with Hall was changed to the main event of UFC. He got into a physical disagreement with sparring partner Orlando Sanchez during his training camp leading up to this fight, accusing Sanchez of employing a potentially harmful submission that might easily hurt him. Hall was defeated by Strickland in a unanimous decision. At UFC 268, Strickland was supposed to compete against former UFC middleweight champion Luke Rockhold, but Rockhold withdrew on October the 11th because of a strained disc. At UFC Fight Night 200, Strickland squared off against Jack Hermanson. He prevailed in a close decision. The bout was evaluated favourably by 21 of 21 media outlets for Strickland. Judge Sal D'Amato's decision to award Hermanson the victory by a score of 48-47 drew much criticism. Alex Pereira and Strickland were slated to go off at UFC 277. The promotion, however, chose to move the matchup to UFC 276. Strickland was knocked out in the opening round of the fight. In October 2022, Strickland and Jared Cannonier were slated to square off at UFC Fight Night 2112, but after Strickland withdrew due to a finger infection, the fight was called off. UFC Fight Night 216 was scheduled for the duo, but Strickland was defeated by a narrow margin of votes. At UFC Fight Night Strickland vs Imavov, Strickland faced Nassourdine Imavov in a light heavyweight matchup in place of Kelvin Gastelum. He prevailed by unanimous judgment in the match. In July 2023, Abusive Magomedov and Strickland squared off. By technical knockout in the second round, Strickland prevailed. With this victory, he was given the Performance of the Night prize. Strickland was riding a motorbike in Los Angeles when he was struck by a car in December 2018, knocking him down cold. After the accident, he had a knee operation due to his extensive injuries. Strickland has acknowledged that he was a young neo-Nazi. After making friends with individuals of various ethnicities who assisted him, he stopped. According to him, if he weren't competing in the UFC, he would probably be making meth in a caravan. Sean Strickland demonstrated his boxing prowess in a recent UFC bout, winning via technical knockout. After more than 4 minutes of furious exchanges with his opponent, Strickland suffered a difficult start and took a lot of punishment in the first round, but his relentless usage of jabs and punches paid off in the second. In terms of money, it might be challenging to determine a fighter's precise income because they often like to keep it a secret, but we can make an educated assumption based on prior reports. Regarding Strickland, he reportedly earned $321,000 for his recent contest with Nassourdine Imavov. This included a base salary of $200,000, $100,000 win bonus, and $21,000 in sponsorship money. Given his recent triumph against Magomedov, it's realistic to predict that Strickland will earn around $400,000 for this fight. It's crucial to keep in mind that these sums are only estimations and might not correspond to the fighter's real earnings. Through his MMA career, Strickland has acquired an estimated $1 million in net worth. Over $750,000 has been earned from him via sponsorships, fight purses, and other sources. The $321,000 Strickland received for his bout with Nassourdine Imavov in 2023 was his highest fight payout to date. Sean Strickland uploaded a funny video in the beginning of 2023 in which he delivers a funny house tour. In the humorous 2.5-minute video, Strickland gives viewers a tour of every room in his flat, starting with the focal points, his table and guitar. Sean Strickland hilariously voiced his regret following his loss to Alex Pereira and contrasted his original ambitions to buy a potent Dodge Hellcat muscle car with the reality of owning a Hyundai accent. Strickland posted a video on Instagram exhibiting his new accent and joked humorously about how little and understated it was in comparison to his dream high-performance car. That is all for today, UFC enthusiasts. Do you think Strickland will win his next fight? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon. We will be back with another video like this. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching.